invited a couple of you. If you if you're one of the people who's speaking with me, I think you're invited and now you just have to accept it. Let's see. All right. Hello, we did it.
Hey, hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are
Heather.
you?
Great. Naya. Okay, we did it. We did it.
Yay!
Um,
Can you hear me?
I can,
Okay,
yeah.
great. All right, we
Um,
did do it.
oh, did I do the wrong one? Hang on 1 second. Bogey, I'm trying to invite you, but for some reason you're coming up twice. Is that the right one? We'll get this. We'll get this. It just takes a second to get the speakers in the room. I'm gonna invite you twice. All right. Okay, there's the other Heather. Invite. All
Okay.
right. Okay, we're almost there. Um, let's see. Heather Brock, I invited you, and I think you have to accept it if you can figure out where that is. Yay!
Make it.
We did it. We did it. Um,
Yay!
okay, I think the only person that we still need to figure out is Christy, but what I'm gonna do is Sheridan. I'm gonna ask you to let me know when she comes in the waiting room. Um, um, okay, great. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to have all of you here. And welcome to Live in the Gamers platform. We are what is it, 8 days away from the Gamers Awards, and that is always such an exciting time of year for us. At the Gamers, we really kind of we do a lot of different things, but I think often we are most known for the Gamers Awards, which is totally great with me because the Gamers Awards really are sort of the coming to life of what is the mission of the Gamers overall, which is to elevate and amplify all of the things that are already happening in games for for women and identifying people, and just so thrilled to have some of my favorite superstars in our community here with me today. So I think if it sounds good to all of you, maybe a good way to kick it off is just sort of a general go around the room, and I'd love to give each of you a chance to introduce yourself, share what you're up to, where you're coming from, what's kind of going on in your world right now. And so if that sounds okay, really anybody can kick it off, but I can kind of go on my screen. Maybe I'll go clockwise around, which is first up, Heather Garozzo.
All right. Hi, everyone. So nice to be here. So I'm Heather. I've been in esports gaming forever, so the list goes on of things. But I actually started as a former professional gamer myself, playing in Counter-Strike. Did that for many years. Won a world championship along the way. First woman inducted into Esports Hall of Fame. Not the last, so that's good. There's so many more now. Um, and fell in love with what's called esports observing. So essentially, I travel the world for a lot of the Counter Strike and Valorant major events and in game direct their tournaments. And through all of that, I found my love for esports production and created Radiant. So we're all women founded esports production company where we put on women and marginalized gender events across many different game titles with the support of game publishers. So we do Activision Blizzard's Calling All Heroes for Overwatch, Riot Games VCT Game Changers for Valorant. We put on the Milk Cup for Fortnite, Star Chaser Showdown, Rocket League, among a number of other different events. And not just women's events too. Like we were the first all women's admin team for like a men's tier 1 Valorant event. So that was very cool too with Red Bull. So we keep busy doing all these great things. And one of the things I'm most excited about what we're doing is just like kind of the path to pro, not just for the players, but also for our staff. So we work with a ton of women contractors that don't often get a lot of opportunities despite having the skill and passion. And now a lot of them have full-time jobs at major publishers, and that's awesome. So yeah, really excited to be here today. I always love watching the Game Pair Awards. Super excited to see who this year's winners are too. It's another like great moment to elevate like rising stars. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much, Heather. I mean, one of the things I love, first of all, you're one of the first people that I, kind of looked up to when we started the Gamers. One of the first things I did was figure out like, okay, we're not like recreating any wheels here. We're just trying to escalate and amplify like all the things already happening. Like, who are the people I need to know? And obviously, your background speaks for itself. But I think it's one thing that's really cool about specifically Radiant and is that a lot of times that if there's whether it's anybody who's sort of coming into the industry or having a conversation with us the first time around, and they'll say like, oh, so are you a competitor of Radiant? I'm like, competitor? Like, what? No. Like there is so much, I don't know what the word is, like greatness and opportunity. I'm like, number one, we work together a
Yeah.
lot,
Yep.
and number two, what's so there's so many different sort of slices of the world in which we all can exist and just sort of rise together, and it's been a really wonderful experience to be able to do that with Radiant. We have a lot more coming in the future, and so yeah, just thanks so much
Exactly.
for being here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, on to you, Naya.
Okay, to me. Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Naya. And I guess a little bit about me. I'm the founder of the Black Gaming Society, which was the Top Collegiate Org of the Year award winner last year with the gamehers. And I guess ultimately, I've been a gamer my whole life. I'm currently studying sports management at Cal State Long Beach. I'm getting my master's in that. But my whole like dream is really to make it about esports, where my heart kind of lies within competition. Currently, I'm playing for their Overwatch varsity team, where I play flex support, main Kiriko, and I'm having a blast being able to also not only compete but also coach brand new players to the game. So, yeah. I don't know if there's much else. I guess with
That's
the Black Gaming
perfect.
Society,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like about to pitch my org. I was like, I didn't say, but our whole mission
No,
is to
that's the
empower.
whole point. This is a
Yeah, yeah,
platform
yeah.
to pitch and share about everything. And I wanted to let everybody kind of introduce themselves. But yeah, I mean, you were a Gamers Award winner last year, and it's just like so great to sort of see what you were already doing. You know how that was. It was fun to
Mhm.
have to share that experience, and then to hear what you're doing now. So we'll have more time to talk about all of it. But okay, so I'm still going clockwise. Heather Brack.
Hey, everybody. So I just want to say, both of you ladies, super impressive. I'm just gushing over both of y'all's accomplishments and what you've achieved. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness, and I love that you guys are also fellow women and in the gaming industry. So, dream come true to get to do this with you guys. So, heckin' excited. But yes, so my name is Heather. So, I'll just say I'm Heather number two for this stream. I'm actually not like super high up, but I am the director of customer success in the gaming industry for the Americas region, working for a lot of studios and developers. Just trying to make sure that they feel valued and welcomed in the industry and that they have somebody to talk to. You're amazing. Everybody's amazing. And I am a gamer. I've been gaming my entire life. Very, very, very passionate in this industry, and looking forward to talking to all of you fabulous ladies about gaming.
Yeah, and Heather, I want to welcome you to this group, and you are the seat at this table is deservedly yours. I remember when we met at GDC last year, and it's so fun to meet people in all corners of our
Mhm.
industry. And I absolutely loved our conversation, and I love what you've been doing in the industry, and just really thrilled to have your perspective here. So thanks for joining.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you for the invite.
yeah. Okay, Boogie. Hopefully Christy will be joining us, but for this moment, last but not least at all, Boogie, you're up.
So I always say, for those that's new to me, those that's true to me, my name is She is Boogie. Hi, call me Books for short. Real name Rachel. I'm really, I go between both. So whichever one you call me, that's fine. I am actually the two-time champion for the Coach of the Year for the gamehers. I won last year before last. That led me into being the COO for Sister Shooters, which is a all black female organization for esports readiness and content creation. I Where's my list? I am one of the brand ambassadors for the gamehers. I am a content creator for Team Inferno, who recently just went to the Apex AOGS in LAN in New Orleans, and that was their first appearance. So super hype about that. I am a lot. I'm also a EA partner. So Apex is my main game. So from gaming, content, casting, competing, I've done it all. I just got back, like I found my spark back to get back into playing competitive. So hopefully I found a team to where we can grow, learn, and everything. So then I could be the first black female to compete in Apex. And I do play other various games, but everything like that. What else? I am a coach for Apex as well, for Sister Shooters, as well as on Metafy.gg. That led to a lot from my community. It overwhelmed me, honestly. Just being able to be seen, and then it's like, okay, like I want you to teach me, things like that. So um and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, like I didn't think I would become a coach. I just would tell people how to play the game. My community wanted to do like a little joke, and I made like an Apex Legends book, and it was just called Get Good or Die Trying. So something as simple and as funny as that leading to me winning my first award in 2022. I still cry about it. I keep my awards on my desk just so it keeps me going, keeps me inspired, and I'm pretty sure I'm skipping some stuff about me, but that's me.
Thank you all so much. I mean, I put together some sort of leading questions for us to just kind of chat about, but we can sort of see where the conversation takes us. The first one I was going to throw out there, and I'll be happy to kind of go first on it. Is just, by the way, some of you already touched on this a little bit in your intro, but like it's around your why. Like why are you? What drew you to gaming? How did you end up on this call today at Shara, on this live? And what is your personal why? I think it's always so interesting to talk about that, especially in this industry, and especially thinking of young people who might want to get into the industry, because it seems a lot of times like there's one path, or it can seem like there's one path, and I think maybe there isn't. So, my why and my background is has its own uniqueness. I'm a mom. I live in New York City. I've got a 15, 13, and 8-year-old. They're gamers. Um, but I went to college for I majored in math and also in vocal performance. I'm a singer for fun these days and with my family. But I worked in media as a media buyer and advertising sales for like 10 years in the corporate world, which I actually really loved that experience. I thought it was fun to kind of learn about brands and why they want to reach out to certain people. And I think in today's world, that's like more important than ever. People tend to, for reasons that make so much sense, myself included, tend to really kind of care about the brands that they're using and what's behind them. But when I think about my personal life and my why, it's always been about bringing people together and community. I always like to share I'm the oldest of 21 first cousins, and like I've lost count of the number of second cousins because it keeps growing by the week. But I love, I was like putting together Thanksgiving shows back when I was like just a young kid, and then I was organizing my singing group, and I just always loved like organizing people and bringing them together. I think that it's always been so uh, obvious to me the value that finding people who you feel some similarities to is something that feels good and opens up doors. And so when I was at the point that I was sort of leaving the corporate world, coincided with when I started a family, and I joined a community company that was building community around parents, expectant and new parents. And then that journey kind of led me to I had some quite strong adjacencies to the gaming world. I had some gaming kids and some family who was in working in esports, and just felt like there was maybe a possible opportunity to apply some community building in this industry. And I'm just so honored to be here. It's been such a great experience over the past few years. And yeah, so that's it. I mean, everybody doesn't have to answer it. If you feel like you already kind of touched on it, that's great. But I love to know, like, what's your why? What makes you tick? And for me, it's people, community, and coming together around common interests or experiences. So anyone can kind of feel free to jump in on that
I'll
one.
jump in first. Yeah, as someone that I always played games like casually growing up, Nintendo and stuff, but never considered myself a gamer and didn't want to consider myself a gamer because I was like a multi-sport varsity athlete, and I loved competition really. And then I had a knee injury and I got stuck home, and my brother was playing video games, and long story short, like I eventually fell in love with it. And I think it just what really resonated with me, like I still get the same drive that I did when I was competing in sports. I feel like there's always something I can do to keep improving. And I still get the same highs from winning and the lows from losing that drive you even more. But I think my favorite thing about esports too is that anyone can do it. You're not necessarily limited by like the shape of your body or anything, or how tall you are or whatever. Um, I love that you can watch a competition and watch your favorite player, and then immediately, like, you're right on the computer anyways, try to replicate that yourself. And I think that's a really cool moment. And then I think even just watching esports competitions, going to them, there's so much like sense of community. I know like the online world can be a scary place, and there's people that are like super mean, but every time I go to an online or in-person event, everyone's amazing. They're so excited to meet new people. I've been able to meet people from all over the world. I'm one of my most recent experiences. I was in Bangkok, Thailand, for an event, and there was other Thai observers that came up to me and started crying because they've never met another observer before, and they were so excited to ask me how I got into this space. And it just really resonates in me that I got the opportunity to meet so many more people than I would have just probably. I was in insurance too for a while competing, and like that just wasn't broadening my horizons like gaming. So I love the community. I love how
Shout out.
passionate people are. Yeah, and I think competing in esports is the best thing in the world.
That's awesome. And you've got such great energy, Heather. I think you a long inspiration for a lot of people. So it's really neat to be chatting.
I love that. I'll go next. My why was pretty much so my mom is a gamer, so she started out. She was the one in the arcades playing Miss Pac-Man. Like she had the high scores and everything. So when it came down to like Nintendo systems, I was a huge Nintendo baby. Everything from Super Nintendo to the Wii, like played it, owned it, had it. And and also being an only child, I had so much fun just being in the games. I saw how it connected me and my family as we got older, especially with the Wii, seeing my grandparents before they had passed away, being able to like play games and see like how the world is changing and stuff like that. And just me being like a huge extrovert, I love meeting new people. One of my friends really just told me just straight up, was like, "You're so funny, you should start streaming." And as it happened, it was just more people was just coming towards me, whether it was my energy, my personality, and just hearing the stories of like what everybody has gone through in streaming. I said, in my space, you won't go through that, and as time went on, as just more things were just happening for me, and I realized like you don't see a lot of women, and especially you don't see a lot of black women in a lot of these spaces. So my thing is I've always wanted to be the pillar of light for the younger generation to come up and not be afraid to say you play video games. I used to hit it from a lot of my friends growing up because video games, anime, you know, I didn't like everything that they did. So, and it was crazy because I also played basketball. So I kind of diverted to more of the guys that understood because they played video games and then they also liked what I liked. And just seeing how, like, growing up wasn't a lot of people that could represent us. I want to be able to be one of the ones to represent us growing up and showing that and just being and continue being me. Like, some people may not know I cosplay. So I recently did a funny one. I did Steve Harvey for an event I did called BoogieCon. It was just celebrating me because I really haven't done it in a while. And then you'll see me go from Steve Harvey to like Loba, or like right now I'm going to be crafting Emma Frost from Marvel Rivals. So just being able to show everyone like you can, like, anybody can do this. Is like you put your heart and your passion in it, it can be done. It may not be exactly, but you can put your own spin on things. My path isn't your path. It may be similar, but still be able to take that.
I love that. And I think, the term, like, if you see it, you can be it. And I know that, I mean, like the Gina Davis um, Foundation or something does that for movies and TV. And it seems like, I mean, part of me is like, how are we still talking about this? But it's just like, it's really true. I mean, if you don't think about the possibility that you could do something because you just actually don't see anyone who feels or looks or acts anything like you publicly doing it, you just grow up with those kind of, you don't, it doesn't occur to you that it might be an option. So I
Mhm.
love that. Thank you so much.
Um,
Naya, would you like
Naya
to
or
share?
Heather, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I would, if possible. I feel like my story is very similar to both of you guys who shared so far, or I guess all three of you, so far. So for myself, I've also just been a lifelong gamer. Like I've loved gaming since I was like 2, 3 years old. Like watching my dad and my uncle play on like the GameCube, the first PlayStation, so forth. um and similarly to Boogie, like even though I feel like I'm relatively young, gaming was not the cool thing as it is today, I feel. And I was made to feel like ashamed, or that like it was not cool to do this, or I was just weird for participating in playing 11 hours a day, or wanting to watch anime. And you know that ultimately kind of led me to a place where I feel like now I really want to reclaim that. And so, like, again, with my organization, our whole mission is to empower Black gamers, but behind that comes from a sense of purpose of like, you shouldn't be afraid or like feel ashamed for just enjoying what you enjoy, especially as it relates to gaming and anime and all things nerdy culture. And just kind of reclaiming that space, especially as a Black woman, that it's okay for me to be top 500, for me to be peak rank one, or grandmaster one, and kick ass. I don't know if I could curse on this, but like, I have been told at times that, like, girls are not good at games, especially like there's a lot of racist comments and sexist comments that I've had to kind of face and endure as I've been grinding like the competitive ladders for multitudes of games, but particularly Overwatch as a recent, my whole life. So I kind of always fought that with like, what, I'm just going to get better, as we've already kind of touched over, because you can't really fight my rank, right? Like, it's just boom, there it is. Where are you on the ladder? That's what I thought. So you know but yeah, I really just feel like my why is kind of to kind of reclaim that confidence and just reclaim that space, that it's okay and it's particularly for marginalized races and genders to just feel empowered and have the confidence to just be out there, be proud, and enjoy games. Like the whole point of gaming is to have fun and be around people. So when, you know, the social aspects kind of like stray away from that, it's so counterintuitive because games were meant for us to come together and play and have fun. So I kind of just want to carve that space out, as Boogie was saying, especially for Black women, because it's not very common yet. I'm just always, I say, like, you know, it hasn't been seen or hasn't been done before, but it's a yet, because in my journey, I'm really kind of thinking of my inner child. And when I first saw like little shows on G4 that were maybe women on the floor of E3, you know, talking about games, I think back to a moment where I was like, I want to be in this industry. Like, I would love to talk about games and, you know, be in this space. I knew I didn't want to make them even at that time, but I just knew, I didn't know what that job was, but I just have known that like I really wanted to be in this space. And, you know, if I had someone to look up to that was a gamer, was a esports competitor, a cosplayer, you know, an analyst, there's so much to this whole space that, you know, I as we've already kind of touched on, is like if you could see it, you could do it. So yeah, I kind of
Yeah,
lead with that. So
that's
a
so
little bit of
great.
my
I love
why.
the yet. I've heard
Mm.
people say that before, but I had kind of forgotten about that. It's a great word to add to, like it hasn't been done yet. So thank you for reminding me of that. And Christy, welcome. I'm so excited. We have Christy Garton here from 1000 Dreams, founder and CEO, and she is so amazing. Christy, you have missed nothing. All we've done is intros, and now we're doing what is our why, which is kind of, you know, maybe you could just do it all in one. A little bit of your
All
background,
right.
what brought you here, and welcome.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for having me. And, hi, everyone. It's so good to see your lovely faces. Wow. So, yes, intro to myself, my organization. I am a longtime social entrepreneur. I can think back to when I was a kid, for whatever reason, I just enjoy getting my friends together and making a difference. I can remember in third grade, there was a walkathon in my community, and my aunt, she's deaf, and it was for the deaf school. And so we, got together, we raised money. I think it was $100 at the time. And we went on a 3-mile walk together. And I just so enjoyed, organizing people around good causes that I've really made it my life's work. I, founded a music organization when I was in college that still exists today. And then, thought my calling would be in law. So, like a lot of us, we go to school and we're trying to figure out what our paths are. And sometimes you may not have that right mentor or network to really kind of help you understand what the best path is for yourself. And I was kind of in that position. I really didn't have anybody to kind of guide me, like, hey, Christy, clearly you like being involved in the community. You should really continue that. So if, if someone had been there at the right time, I may have stuck with running that music program and really grown that. But I instead chose to go to law school, and thought that coming out of that, I would find my way back into making a difference. And law really does present that for people in some ways. It can be hard to get to that right position. And I came out of law school really not in that best position. So I kind of quickly pivoted, and I haven't looked back. My focus today has really grown out of my experiences as a woman who lacked resources at those important points, whether it was a mentor or funding. In school, there were so many times that, outside of the classroom opportunity would come up, but it would cost money to do it. So that's what really led to 1000 Dreams Fund, and where the idea for that came from. So many people lack access to resources that really can help advance them, help them figure out their paths. So that's what I wanted to bring, and really bring for women, because women are still very underrepresented in so many industries. Our organization believes all dreams matter. We want to serve those who are underserved. But we're really starting to focus over the years. When we launched in 2016, we'll be 10 years old next year. We really focused in areas where there's some very dramatic differences in terms of women in leadership roles in companies and industries. You know, pay equity is still a huge issue in many industries, and just general awareness. You know, for instance, that tech is an incredible opportunity, and you don't have to necessarily be a tech guru to find an incredible position. There's marketing, there's business roles in tech. So, you know, our organization's really in that kind of place where we're helping those who are underserved, women as a focus, find their paths, whether it's through the funding we're providing. We've granted out over $1 million since we were founded in 2016 for the extracurricular opportunities. Mentoring, that's another big focus for us. And then ultimately helping our beneficiaries reach their dream, a job, a career that's meaningful. So gaming and esports has been one of those big industries for us where, you know, Rebecca, your company, I mean, obviously women and you understand the importance of serving women in this industry. And we've been a proud supporter of women and women who identify and who dream of having careers in gaming and esports, whether that's a competitive player or somebody who wants to be behind the camera in one of these amazing business roles. So we've been able to create some really incredible programs over the years that we're growing still today. And, you know, I'm here because thanks to you all and the community here, we were selected for Charity of the Year last year in 2024, which was a great honor. So thank you for having me today, and look forward to continuing to converse with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. I love that. I think a couple of you have mentioned like all the different sorts of careers that you can have in gaming, and obviously you've got people like Heather who are, you know, into professional esports players, and that's like for some people an aspirational dream that may be harder to actually achieve, but also lots of pathways to that, hopefully. And then but they're also like, I love that graphic that I've seen on in a whole different variety of ways on different social platforms, where it's like all the different possible jobs in this industry, you know, including things like personal trainers, and of course, you know, like graphic designers. And I mean, with their speaking of lawyers, like esports specific lawyers, I mean, it's kind of like, what career do you want? Because that job exists somewhere in the gaming industry. But yeah, so Heather, Brock, I want to give you the opportunity to share about sort of your why and you know what brought you here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just want to say, Boogie, it's your energy. That's what it is. Like your energy, just you, I'm telling you, you just are radiant and you have just such a welcoming energy. So I just wanted you to know and let you know that it's your energy. That's why people are drawn to
I
you.
will cry right now. Please.
But I definitely just wanted, I was sitting here and I was like, when you were questioning, I was like, no, it's your energy. It's your energy. Like it's so amazing and beautiful and radiant and sunny. And I just wanted you to know that. But speaking of energy and good vibes and kind of the output in the world, of course, I'm a gamer. I'm a daily gamer. I met my husband in gaming. We have a really great, long, awesome friendship that turned into obviously a marriage, and we have a great family. We have wonderful dogs and cats, and we love rescuing animals. But one of the things that I want to say that was most impactful in the industry for me is the way that it can really genuinely take you out of a really dark place in your life and immerse you in a completely different world. Not always just with a sense of community, playing with somebody else. It's the worlds that you get to experience and the imagery and the artistry and just the beauty of somebody else's mind and what they're seeing. You get to experience that. And I think that that's really beautiful. You know, and having to have an escape, I should say, just from the world. Let's be honest, like being an adult, like this is the worst hood ever. Adulthood sucks. We can all admit that. And it's really hard. And, you know, I came out of a really dark place. You know, I was right there at the edge looking down, and I was about to take that step, and it just by the luck of the universe, they were like, "It's not your time, babe. You still got a little while to go." And that day, I sat there on the side of my bed, and I just said, I'm never going to let somebody feel this way ever again. If it's going to be the one lifeline that I have in the world around me, I don't want anybody to go through what I felt. And so I do genuinely try to spread as much positivity and reminding people of the power that they have and the effect that they have on the world around them. I think that that's really important. And I tie that into gaming by always wanting to include everybody and everything. And if you follow any of my social medias, specifically LinkedIn, that's where I mostly do it because that's a dark place. We all know that it can be really hard to see some of the impact that the industry has. So I try to be that beacon of light in the darkness, and I really want to show other people how to get out of it. It's a really dark place to be and can be so isolating. But also, again, it ties into gaming. That's a place that you can escape to, and it's genuinely helped me, and I know many others, especially during COVID.
Yeah, Heather, thank you for sharing that genuinely authentic experience, because I think it's interesting. I've said before, I think that, I mean, not in this group of people because we're all here, but in the broader world, I feel like there's an opportunity that it's on its way there, but for gaming to have sort of like a PR makeover in that there's opportunities such as what you just shared, where it can really be a lifeline and a really positive, um, whether it's for community or friendship or for mental health support or emotional support. So thank you for that. That really means a lot, and I think that it's nice to have a platform and opportunities and people who are willing to kind of share what's real. And so, yeah, I thank you all. Like it's great to know, sometimes if we're working together, like, doing the real, like, okay, well, this is what's going to be on social media, and let's support this, and we need these graphics and whatever. It's like, it's nice to really get to highlight and understand what's behind the people who are behind the platforms or the companies or the organizations. So I appreciate that, that sort of why. And speaking of, if you see it, you can be it, which is something we were talking about earlier, and kind of representation. What do you all see as like significant shifts that, because I always do like to say there's a lot of progress that we need to make for sure, but there also is progress that's happened. What do you see as the shifts that have happened? Like, what successes have you seen in the past few years, specifically regarding, inclusivity in our industry? And you can kind of take that question wherever you want to take it. But I like to, speaking of being the beacon of light, I like to talk about what successes have we experienced collectively. And I'll throw that out there to anybody who would like to weigh in.
I'll grab it first. Just as someone that's been doing this since 2002, it's gotten so much better. Like that's what it's hard to like look at it and say like, oh, this is the most inclusive, diverse, everything community. It's not yet, but like the trajectory is so good when you compare it to like, I don't know, like women's sports, for example. Like women's sports has had like 80 to 100 years to get where we are, where people are like finally watching like the WNBA or women's college basketball. That took them so long to get there, where I don't know, I think even pay is still like, what isn't it, like Caitlin Clark only making like 78,000 a year, which most of the pro gamers I know far exceed that, which is crazy. But like we're on a good path. Um, and that's what makes me excited. Like even the player base too, like something like 50% of gamers are women, and sometimes people say, oh, but is that mobile games? Like no, like Valorant has outwardly said 40% of their gamers are women. Like that's incredible. Or you look at like calling out heroes for Overwatch, we've peaked at 65,000 concurrent viewers watching women and marginalized gender Overwatch. That's incredible. And so I don't know, sometimes when I'm feeling down about things, I remember that like we are on an upwards path here, and things are definitely improving, and we've got more women in leadership spaces, and we're starting very slowly to see those like top women on like top teams or like in the tier 1 scene. So like it's working its way up.
Yeah, I love that. I think we also are living in this much further out beyond even this industry. We're living in this time of like, the achievement culture and like what's next, what's next. And so I know that I find myself sometimes struggling to celebrate, you know, anything. Because it's always like, yay, okay, we did it now. Let's do this. And so thank you for that. Anybody else have any sort of successes that they want to highlight? Again, we don't have to all answer
Yeah,
every question.
I'd love to just say Naya and Boogie are examples. Like their stories that they've shared so far are examples of just how amazing things have started to become. And I just want to say to both of you, like, y'all have inspired me. Like, I'm just so proud of both of you and your stories. And I just want everybody to know that they are shining examples of what you can be and who you can become and who you can look up to. And I hope that kids really do look at you and know that they can be in that space with you. And I just want you guys both to know that your story is the example here.
What a great answer. Thanks, Heather. That's spot on.
I'm crying after this for sure. Yep.
I know. I'm gonna join you in tears.
Seriously.
I so appreciate that. Thank you so much, Heather. And I was gonna say, like, this very space, I think, is,
Mhm.
we kind of have to be present in the moment of like, this is the success. And this is definitely like a step in the right direction. And I don't want to say it again, but definitely just the yet of like, oh, we're almost there. We're like these things, they're not maybe present, but we're just on the horizon. And I want to also like shout out that just last week I was at LA GameCon, and I spoke on a panel for primarily the Los Angeles community colleges, and like their initiatives for esports, and like really trying to like hammer that in to their schools programming, and like help students transfer to four-year universities and so forth. But it's relevant to me because I was also a community college transfer at these same schools in Los Angeles before I transferred to UC Irvine. And this whole boom of scholastics esports, like this did not exist even just in the 6 years, 7 years now that like I've got came and gone through school, through undergraduate studies. Um, in 2017, I started out community college saying I wanted to be a vet because I did not know what the heck I wanted to do. And by the way, I'm deathly allergic to animals, so I don't know how that was going to work. But, I sat there in those classes until one day it just clicked for me that, I need to just pay attention to what I really care about, which was gaming. I was after every class and after school, in between study sessions, I was watching Overwatch World Cup and the beginnings of the Overwatch League form. And then the inaugural season was hosted in Burbank, where I live. So, just down the street from me. And from there, like I just kind of shifted this whole mindset of like, this is what I want to do. And people didn't have an answer for me when I was like, I'd love to do esports. I would love to be in this industry. How do I get there? And, I'm looking to the guidance counselors, to professors to kind of provide that guidance. And it just was not there. Not that they didn't care, but just that there was no knowledge. There was really no awareness of it. But again, that was 2017. Now in 2025, there's whole ecosystems being developed presently for students just like me to kind of follow in this footstep and take on the next steps to transferring to these universities and studying esports, and kind of being able to gain the skills necessary to have jobs in this field. And that's something that, like, when I was 11, 12 years old, like if you told that little girl like, oh, one day you're going to go to school and you're going to get scholarships for playing Overwatch, and that's going to fund your undergraduate degree and your master's degree and so forth, and you just have to play a game, I would be like, you are bazooka bonkers. Like, there's no way. And now there's hundreds of universities that have these scholastic esports programs and this opportunity. So yeah, I think that's definitely like a success. And again, it's still a yet. There's a long way for us to go as far as these opportunities being spread out um, to a diverse array of students. I was kind of like the first femme identified, first recipient period, but for a lot of these things. But it also was a marcation of me as a Black woman earning them. Like, I hope to see other Black women and really any women and other Black men, brown men, etc., kind of have these opportunities and be able to like continue to pave the path forward. And I kind of sometimes feel like Indiana Jones, like in the grass, like pulling stuff down, cutting a little bit, but definitely like in my work, I am always trying to like just look back and see how far I've come, but then also, yes, there's a lot more to go, but definitely try to have a group around me to chart this journey together, because we kind of won't go far alone. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're here today. I know that we're talking about examples of successes, and I want to make sure to give anybody who wants a chance to weigh in on that to do so. And also, I'm looking at we've had such great conversations. I'm looking at the time, seeing that we have about 10 minutes left. So in addition to that one, the other kind of topic I thought would be great to touch on, and then y'all can kind of do either one, is what advice would you give to someone? I think we've already covered some of the, some little tidbits, but someone who's interested in working in this industry, or, networking, or finding what jobs even exist, or what to do. And so whether it's like examples of successes that they could follow, or just real, tactical advice would be great from this very well-rounded and successful superstar crowd. So anyone who wants to jump in on either of those.
I'm gonna say honestly, don't let rejections stop you from your success. Honestly, that's the best way to do it. Just because a brand says no does not mean it's no from everybody. You can get a bunch of no's, somebody will give you a yes, and they will make you feel better than any of them no's. Don't ever let your negativity outweigh your positivity and push into what you want to do.
That's a great
Good.
one.
Love
And
that.
it's hard to always internalize that when you're turning around and feel like you're getting no's everywhere. But I don't know why I keep getting like images of memes in my mind from these, but I saw another cool one that was like a picture of a person that was like made up of the word no everywhere, and then there was like one yes right on top. And it's like, sometimes you actually just need one yes to get going in whatever direction you're trying to go. So thanks for that, Boogie.
Of
I
course.
would kind of add on that note of like a lot of the people that we work with, potentially like even some of our full timers, like literally started as a Twitch moderator for us. Like someone just said, "Hey, I'm looking to do anything," and we just didn't have a role to fill. And like, we could mod our Twitch, but they were good at it. And they're like, "Okay, next time we need someone," we're like, "Oh, I remember that person. Like they were like super communicative," and then we have them, I don't know, help on the admin team and like keep going up. So like, don't be don't be afraid to like start with anything. Like I know, it's cliche, but people say like networking is big. Like there's just so many people that like when I need to hire someone, like I don't even know where to start because there's a million people. But like if you've done anything with us, like, oh, your name comes to mind, like don't be afraid to like start anywhere. Especially if you have the opportunity to work on like a high school or collegiate program, that's like an amazing way to get started. And then like my last thing, which is my favorite thing, is esports and gaming are still so new that like there's so much that has to be like invented still yet. And so like one of the things I've done, I don't know, I'm not a big social media person, but I started building a sizable TikTok because I just went to events and showed like this is where the line is and this is where the merchandise is and they offer food here, and like just showing people like here's what happens at an event, and people like love that stuff. And so and I think I was one of the first people like go to it's dating me again, go to event and start live tweeting at event. So I'm like, there's nowhere else to follow like what's happening minute by minute, like I'm gonna start live tweeting. So like my point is, like if you feel like there's a gap, uh try to do that if you can. Fill that gap, and like that's going to be noticed by people because like you've created something new, and it shows how passionate you are, and people like working with just people that are passionate about this industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. And it's sometimes hard to for people, I think, to think of those things, but it's like you don't have to think of it. Just do whatever you're doing and look around and see if anyone else maybe isn't doing that. I love also the fact that some of the full-time people started out as Twitch moderators.
Mhm.
That resonates a lot with me as well. I see that. So Christy had to leave, but she said have mom duty. She's keep picking up her kids from school, which I can certainly relate to. But her advice was to dream big. The sky is truly the limit when you continue to dream big, and I think that's such great advice. And one of the reasons that we're all here together. So thanks, Christy. If you see this, so happy you made it in. And I think maybe a good way to kind of wrap this up is we can kind of kick it around the circle really quickly, like what's coming up. I think everybody put their where we can find all of these wonderful friends. If you look in the chat, everybody's socials or link trees or whatnot. But any exciting things coming up? I mean, from the Gamehers perspective, we've got the Gamers Awards next week. We also have, if you're watching this on Twitch, we're live streaming from our platform. But if you're watching it on Twitch, certainly make sure to check out our platform. We've got lots of different things coming up all the time there, in a lot of different, kind of sort of segments of the industry, whether whether you're a college student or somebody working in the industry or someone who wants to work in the industry or just a casual gamer looking for community. We've got it all, and really love bringing friends together, and colleagues and people who we admire. So that was the purpose of this. And the big thing we've got coming up is the Gamer Awards. It's May 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to join us there. And yeah, what about the rest of you? What's coming up?
What's funny is that weekend from the 14th through the 18th, me and my friends with Blurs Unite, we're hosting like a virtual block party. So all weekend we're playing like a bunch of different games. I'll be hosting an Apex Legends kill race, and I'll be able to do a giveaway for some coins for it. We have like panel discussions, games. One of my friends, Idios and Anka, she's doing a tier list for SpongeBob memes and episodes. So, or if there's an event that anybody wants to put on, we have the space for it. Whether it's a panel that you always wanted to do or a panel that got rejected from one of the conventions that we may have applied to, we have the space for it. So we'll be doing that on the 17th. They're going to be missing me because I'm doing a watch party. So I'm gonna be dressed as a banana.
Amazing. I love it.
Love it.
So, so that's me.
Yeah, for Radiant events after events. So in 4 minutes, I'm going to head over to our Game Changers broadcast, which we're doing today. And next Wednesday, we've got Calling All Heroes with Overwatch. Tomorrow, we're doing something at the FNCS Pro-Am in Los Angeles. We're doing all the things. Registration is open for a lot of those too. If you play Fortnite, Overwatch, or Valorant, and women marginalized gender, and you want to compete with us. And then the last thing I'll drop in the chat, like I said, we're always hiring people. So if you want to be a Twitch moderator with us or whatever it is, I'll drop the link in chat. Give us your info. We're always looking for new people.
Awesome.
Oh, I can't post the link. Maybe someone else can.
I want to just say thank you for having me. Again, this has been super inspiring. Getting an opportunity to literally be in just the presence of greatness and amazing energy. And I'm so heckin' proud of every single one of you guys on this call. But I also wanted to just go back to just giving some advice as my closing statement, and that's always be yourself. Um, always be yourself, because when you're yourself, you allow authentic, genuine connection and the people that truly are meant to be on your vibe with you in the universe. Always be yourself, and remember that you're amazing and you're wonderful and you're on this earth for a reason.
Thanks, Heather. I appreciate that so much.
Oh my gosh. How would I follow that up? Oh my and close us all out. But oh my gosh. So yeah, this is all wonderful and so exciting. For me, the next thing on my calendar is DreamCon happening in Houston, Texas. I don't know how much you can see in my room, but to the left of me, I have a lot of crafting to do. Oh my gosh, I've been cosplaying, but I usually buy my costumes, but I'm doing my first like custom crafting project myself. So I just have like a couple of big squares of foam in that corner that I have to make into armor by the end of this month. So in just like 2-3 weeks. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I have an industry badge, and I think I did put an application to lead the Overwatch cosplay community meetup. So last year I only met 4 other Overwatch cosplayers, so I'm hoping there will be more this year. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and just meeting a lot of new people. I think otherwise, my summer, I'm looking for employment and internship opportunities. So definitely hitting up this Radiant link after this personally. So you might see me over there, but we'll see. But yeah, um, otherwise,
I love when
yeah.
connections happen real time.
Yes, literally, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Listen, I have the
literally,
tab up right now. Like,
yeah,
Yes,
same,
come.
same.
ready.
So,
It's
and I might
opened up.
and I might have to tune into this SpongeBob meme panel too, because
Please
I
do.
love SpongeBob.
Mhm.
I also just got
Please
my
do.
license, so I posted like so many boating school memes, and I was like, the
We have
Baby
a
Bob
panel about
era
that too.
is
So
over. Yeah.
we
So,
literally have a panel called "Is you licensed or not?"
ah,
So please,
yeah, I'm
please come.
definitely
Well,
gonna pull up
thanks
to
for
that.
all of
So
you so much. Heather, I'm getting you out right in time to go to your other stream,
Love
right?
it. Long day ahead. That's all right. I live for
Awesome.
this.
Well, yeah, thank you. It means a lot. I know we're all busy, and thanks so much. We'll do it again. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks all.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.